So Cherry, which is directed by the Russo brothers, who made most of the excellent Marvel films such as The Winter Soldier, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame, and stars Tom Holland. Cherry is about a boy who is in college, meets a girl while he has a girlfriend already in a different college, and the new girl gets with him, and then he finds out she's leaving to a different college in a whole different country, so that enables him to join the United States Army, and then he goes into there, gets all sorts of screwed up, comes out, and is still intertwined with the girl, and basically become addicts after that because of PTSD and just drug addiction and alcohol addiction. And it turns into becoming a junkie and robbing banks for money to pay for the addiction. So that's basically Cherry's synopsis in a nutshell. My personal thoughts on Cherry is the trailer was a really good trailer. I mean, a really good trailer. It really had me invested to the point where I actually started a free trial on Apple TV Plus just to watch this film, Cherry. So, Cherry, what I can say good about it is it has an exceptional performance from Tom Holland. He, hands down, is the best actor that acts in Cherry. All the other performances are solid, but Tom Holland, as always, even like as Spider-Man, his performance always sticks out. He gives a great emotional performance as the star. Another really good positive, a really big positive I can say about Cherry is the great storytelling elements. And by that, I mean you get a lot of scenes. Most of the film is shot in widescreen 2.4 ratio, but then there are some scenes where it shrinks down to even less than 4:3 format, I guess to exemplify IMAX elements, but it's mainly just in the parts when he's in the military, and it's not really even when he's in the war itself. It's really just in basic training. On top of that, the format changes, which they're not jarring. Usually they're jarring in films when it switches everywhere, every which way. In this film, it's not jarring. The format changes actually feel smooth and quite transitional. Another great thing as far as the storytelling elements is the detail, the great attention to detail, specifically when he's in the military, with like finding out he's colorblind through diagnosis with doctors, the unrelenting military details, the aspects of what it's like to be in the army and be a medic. And another great artistic value I appreciate in Cherry is when Tom Holland's character is in the army and he's making phone calls, and it's always to his significant other. I'll just put it that because I try to limit and minimize my spoilers. But when he's on the phone with his significant other, even whenever it shows in the scenes her side, it still sounds like he's speaking to her in the phone. And I really appreciate that it doesn't take you out. It actually immerses you a lot more by doing that. And I really appreciate all of these very original and artistic storytelling elements. I will give this film that. Unfortunately, that's really the only good I have to say about Cherry. The negatives for the film Cherry. Bad plot devices, and examples of that stems since the beginning of the film. Cheating main character, okay? One of the biggest complaints for the bad plot devices I have is basically 10 to 20 minutes into this film. Like I said, Tom Holland's character has a girlfriend already, and then he meets this girl who becomes his main significant other, and how they get together is basically he cheats on his pre-existent girlfriend because he explained how cold-blooded she is. Never mind the fact that he never actually exposed her as a cheater or a manipulator or anything. He just goes off of how he feels about her by the end of their relationship just to get with this new girl. To me, that's really toxic. That did not pull me in. It did not help develop his character. Can't say anything bad about the girl because she was just kind of going along with the ride at that point. Another bad plot device in Cherry is joining Army because he was sad because of news that his girlfriend gave him. And then it was about her leaving the country for school and because love. And essentially that's a lot of the story. Just revolves around staying together or separating because love. Seriously, that's basically a line in Cherry. I was leaving because I love you. That makes no sense at all. I understand they try to bring humanity into characters. They try to humanize them. That's not good humanizing characteristics for characters. It's not. It does not make them relatable. That's toxic elements inside of a character. That's bad. And, you can have bad characters in a film and be great, exceptional characters. They have to have some redeeming effects from their characterization. Unfortunately, in this film, every character sucks by the end. There's really no good character. Everybody either just is stupid, becomes an addict, or is both. I touched base on this in the positives, but as for another negative, this is hands down a very standard war story about falling in and out of love and falling in and out of addiction habits. It's nothing new. It's nothing original story-wise. just falling in and out of love, falling in and out of drug and alcohol habits, and robbing banks for money to be able to dope yourself up. That's all this story is about. It's very standard, bare bones. Illogical plotting as another gripe and another negative from me. And by that, great examples is every single bank robbery, Tom Holland's character does the bare minimum to hide his identity. So little to the fact that after his first bank robbery, they literally have his face on camera as a picture printout. And there's a line in this film where they literally say, yeah, you're probably best to just stay at home for a while. Okay, if every bank in the last 20 years, because this does span a couple decades, every bank in the last 20 years has cameras, has excellent security. Why? Because of the amount of money that they have and the people that work there. So for you to go into a bank with anything less than a mask, bleach, rubber gloves, any kind of gloves, guns, weapons, anything, is just ridiculously stupid. And again, that brings back the fact that these characters are very stupid and they act very illogically. And on top of that too, with the illogical plotting, as far as not really understanding how to be a criminal, and I understand they touched base with the fact that he's a junkie, so that they don't fully think, if they think at all. By the end, they show that he ends up thinking the most out of everybody, but again, that kind of contradicts the storytelling before that. Okay, if he is claimed to be the smartest of the whole roster of characters in this film, then why did he do all these very illogically stupid things? And then the storytelling device having to do with these stupid plot devices is he never gets caught, even though they literally have his face in a picture from camera footage, and he's never caught. And on top of that, he's a junkie. He goes out, he gets high every single day, every single night and all day. And like I said earlier, my last gripe with the film Cherry is there is no likable character in Cherry. I appreciated that Tom Holland's character was a veteran. I appreciated that, and I appreciated the rough inner workings from when he was in the military and they dealt with PTSD, but that also goes back to a very standard war story about love. And essentially just every character is not a good character. They suck. And I sat through the entire 2 hours and 17 minutes, I believe the actual runtime was, not really caring about any character, not really caring at all about the story. I wasn't really invested in the film overall. It looked good because of the artistic value that I previously aforementioned in some of the storytelling and the direction. And the way it was filmed, it looks really pretty. I will say that they must have used a filter or grain or some kind of element in the camera because they focused in on the central part of the scenes and shots, and that's fine. But most of the time on the outskirts of every character that's in the middle, everything just kind of looks really rough. It just grainy and just faded out and not transitioned correctly. And that was probably the director's intent to do that. I didn't really like it. It was another thing that demersed me, if you will. So overall, Cherry's not a terrible film. It has some good artistic value and production to it. It looks pretty. They do some good things. Oh, and also they do break some fourth walls with Tom Holland's character every now and again. They kind of stop from the halfway point to the end, but he does break character and just kind of talk to the camera in mid-scenes, especially from the beginning to the midpoint of the film. That's another good storytelling element that I did appreciate. But overall, Cherry is a very mundane, overlong, simplified, standard war love story that deals in addiction and bank robbing. And it's not terrible, but it's not good. It's extremely mediocre. It's extremely average. So for me, Cherry is a 5 out of 10. Thank you.